On, ladies and gents, what is going on? What is going on? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin podcast. This is a show where we discuss trending news and thought-provoking topics from the realms of politics, sports, pop culture, and so much more. This is episode, I believe, 83, 84. 84. Um, time sure goes fast. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin podcast. I truly appreciate it. Do me a favor before you even continue watching this. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment on our if you're watching this on YouTube at the moment. Um, like I said, subscribe if you haven't, and share with a lot of people. Share this show. We are a growing program. This show is brought to you by Revolution Beer Care. Rugged is the new smooth. Um, so much to go on, but I'm gonna keep this pretty short. Why? Because it's Friday. Happy Friday. This is the start of my birthday weekend. That's right. Your boy is having a birthday. Actually, Monday the 18th. So I won't be there won't be a show happening that day because I will be celebrating with my friends and family on that day. But obviously the celebrations have already started. That's why I have a delicious beverage right here. There you go. Uh so we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun today. But what I'm gonna discuss with you all um on today's show is two things. Still gonna kind of stay in the political realm. As you know, I enjoy my politics. So there is I'm talk about Don Lemon. If you're not familiar who Don Lemon is, he's a former CNN anchor. So I'll speak why he's in the headlines right now, and also Chris Cuomo, another former CNN anchor, and Tucker Carlson, a former Fox host. So it's gonna be dope. I'm excited to have the conversation with you all. Um, and yeah. Oh, I keep on forgetting. This show, new episodes air Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple, iHeart, Spotify. Again, wherever you can get your podcast, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin podcast. Uh, Type in R Smooth Club Media, okay, R Smooth Club Media, and you will find the Arrington Gavin podcast from there. Also, we drop new video episodes same days at 5 p.m. on our YouTube channel, R Smooth Club Media, as well as Rumble at the Arrington Gavin podcast, Facebook at R Smooth Club Podcast as well, and RSC Media on X. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. Now, speaking of X, because like I said, I'm not going to be on here too long with you guys, because I have some celebrating to do. Even though you're like, hey, Arrington, but your birthday's not today. It's not, but guess what? The turn up started, and you know, hey, B-Day weekend, I'm partying every day. So I'm gonna bring this first one on. Uh, recently, recently, uh, it was announced that Don Lemon was gonna be debuting his show on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, which is owned by Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who has SpaceX. Elon Musk, who owns what else? Tesla. Elon Musk, who owns multiple, uh, uh, really multiple companies. Okay, uh, and I believe he is the richest man in the world. It's always a bounce between him and Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon. But it was announced that Don Lemon was gonna his very first guest for his show. Well, actually, let me go back. Don Lemon is a former CNN anchor, right? Former CNN anchor. He was on there for about 17 years. Very popular guy, might I ask. I believe it was 8 years. Prime time. He hosts his own prime time show, and then there was with CNN being struggling in the ratings and trying to revamp and this and that and the other. Uh, they changed positions for Don, moved him from the prime time spot to the morning. There was a new boss in town, and he was the man who was uh, uh, helped establish the show Morning Joe, which airs every morning, every weekday morning on MSNBC. And it's a popular news panel show. You have Joe Scarborough, his wife, I believe Mika. I can't remember her last name. And there Willie Geist as well. And that's been seen one of MSNBC's highest, popular shows, like a 3 or 4 hour show. So he's like, look, let me start that up with CNN. Fast forward, let's grab Don out of the prime time out of his solo show and pair him partner him up with two female anchors on the show. We're gonna start CNN this morning. CNN this morning, I believe, was a 3 hour. Yes, I believe it was a 3 hour morning show. And they're like, hey, look, we're gonna make magic. This is how we're gonna do it. Boom, we got this now. Uh Fast forward from when he's on that show, gets himself in some trouble. He is seen, I think, saying Nikki Haley at the time, who had just announced that she's running for president, said hey, she's still in her prime, and this should be, a good race for her. And uh, there's the feminist movement is very strong. It's stronger than ever now. So when you say stuff like she's in her prime and you're a man in your late 50s, or any man regardless, saying that, oh yeah, she's in her prime, she got this, it didn't really, flow well with his co-host as well as the public. um then you start resurfacing or stories started coming out that him and his then co-host, I'm forgetting her name as well. I believe her name is Kate. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Her name is Kate somebody. Kate somebody. Da, 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 da. What is that girl's? Kate Collins. That's her name. Kate Collins. And after they had it was some tension happening between the two, and that, they're like, oh gosh, they got some off camera beef. How are they gonna continue to make the public seem like they're one big happy family? And then you have former CNN employees and anchors saying how Don Lemon is a drama queen and very abusive in the back, and it wasn't getting good. The vibes were not good right there surrounding Don Lemon. So then you see what happens. Don Lemon gets fired from CNN. They fired him from CNN. After 17 years, Don, I believe, was out of the public media for about a year, maybe a year and some change. And he was still seen. Uh, they caught glimpse of him, attending events and emceeing local events, things like that. Still, still being known, and he seemed very happy and enjoying life and whatnot. And excuse me. And yeah, that was that. Um, to make matters even better for Don, uh, Don was involved in a lawsuit. Well, it really wasn't a lawsuit, but it was a quiet, like, exchange of of things with CNN, because they had fired him, and he still had, I get, plenty of years left on his contract with CNN. So what happens? CNN pays him the remainder of his contract, 25 million dollars. You hear me? 25 million dollars. Now, that settlement was disclosed after he had made an announcement on Twitter, or on X, excuse me, on X, that he was back. He has a new media company, as well as uh, uh, a new show uh, coming out. And with the start of the with his media company, he said his first project will be the Don Lemon Show. It will be exclusively on X, formerly known as Twitter. And it was going to be a big, huge deal, because here's the thing: X right now has the largest platform. Excuse me, I'm trying to fix my adjust my setup over here. Yeah. You see, I'm in the home studio. Move this around. There we go. Whew. So they have one of the largest platforms really right now in America, and the platform I believe brings on 250,000 people per day, new users per day, and it's just as popular. So it was going to be a big deal for Don because a bigger audience, more freer platform. Because at the end of the day, ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, Elon Musk was always promoting freedom of speech, freedom of speech, this, freedom of speech, that, and so on and so on. So let me bring up this article real quick for you guys, because Don Lemon show was very it was the most talked about thing. Hey, Don Lemon has a new show coming out and he signed exclusively with X. So it's a part of X's I guess what's the word I'm looking for, campaign to bring on, basically more freedom of speech thinkers from all different backgrounds. Um in addition to signing Don Lemon, Jim Rome, who's a sports host. He hosts a Jim Rome show, radio host. I mean, he's a sports guru. He has been for years. He had a very popular show on CBS Sports for a long time. Jim Rome show. He still has a radio show, but it also said that he was coming to X, so it's going to be dope. You already had Tucker Carlson after he got fired from Fox News. He brought his platform. He started a show on X, and now he started his own media company. So it's pretty dope how X is starting to be like that hub where people go to for the news. They say bye bye to cable news and they go to the streaming. Also, in addition to those two gentlemen, Don and Jim Rome, Tulsi Gabbard, former Democratic Congresswoman out of Hawaii, she's now independent. She's a contributor on Fox News now. She also will be doing some hosting some content on X. So X was very excited because they had these three big names in media that they were bringing on to the platform, and it was going to be extremely exciting. Now today is March 15th. Okay, today is March 15th, and the 18th is when Don Lemon will be premiering his show, The Don Lemon Show. Okay, all right. So let me bring on this article right here. Give me a second. There you go. So give it some time. This guys is reported by Fortune. As you see right here, it says Elon Musk fires Don Lemon from X show and brands the host a CNN stooge over interview with him he didn't like. All right. He didn't like. So the interesting thing is that Elon Musk, ever since he was always an advocate for freedom of speech. So let's go back to why did Elon Musk purchase Twitter or make a bid for Twitter? And obviously he renamed it because during the Trump administration, Twitter was Trump's favorite toy to play with. What I mean by that is every day it seemed like uh the president was he always had something to say. He always had something to say, and instead of saying it to, which he did, he wasn't scared to say it out in the public. But he would always rely on Twitter, Twitter. He had a lot of he had a lot of friends. He had a lot of people in agreement within his circle also doing the same thing, tweeting. That MAGA movement, the Making America Great Again movement, it's vicious. It can be vicious. Not good, it is. And a lot of his people within his circle, a lot of people in the conservative right wing people were on Twitter. I mean, just going crazy with it. And then on top of that, too, you had a lot of people promoting hate speech on Twitter. So fast forwarding that, people that are supporters of Trump were like saying, "Oh, it's just this left wing. The media is against Trump, and they're canceling everybody, and blase. YouTube is doing it, this and that, and doing it. Everything is doing it." And so you started seeing new companies, they were starting to create new companies that was gonna be the what's the word I'm looking for? It was going to be the safe place for those people that always spewed all this aggressiveness and hate speech and this and that and that and then this. If they got canceled here, guess what? So a new company opened and said, "Hey, look, come over to this side because you have the freedom to do whatever you want, Now, uh, I say all that to say Elon Musk was one of those guys. Now, he wasn't promoting hate speech. I'll refrain from saying all that. He wasn't promoting hate speech. He was a big advocate and still is a big advocate for freedom of speech, right? So we think he was advocating freedom of speech, which I agree. I that's why I happen to be friends with so many people that that of opposing sides, right? That I don't agree with. I'm friends with everybody because I respect opinions. Now, I do think that everybody is entitled of freedom of speech, but as long as it's not hate speech, if it's not directed to one specific group, race, individual, you say what you want, but do not promote or do not share your opinion or freedom of speech if it's going to cause hate and division. And see, that's what to me Trump and a lot of his supporters were promoting was division. But Elon thought different. Elon's like, "Hey, look, everybody should have a platform. If you like them or dislike them, they should, you don't always have to agree with them, but they should have a platform to share their opinion." So I say all that to say Elon Musk became the sole owner of Twitter, and then changed the name to a letter. It's now called X. X. Why? I don't know, but it's called X. So, which is interesting because now Don has all this, promos happening, and he's very lively on social media. He's showing his new studio. He's saying he finally he had the date advertising on his social media, say, "Hey, look, be sure to tune in to this day and this and that and the other." And it's like, hey, everybody's pretty excited. For those who are Don Lemon fans, you're excited to see him back. What does he have to say? What's going on right now? And he's in the heat of the moment. Obviously, it's the election season, so it's perfect time. I'm a fan of Don, and there were some times where he gets on my nerves. So, but I mean, hey, again, you don't always have to agree with people, but he's a true journalist. He's a great journalist, might I ask. Now I will go back to this graphic, but if you give me a second, let me go ahead and take that off. And I will play you this because this is what Don Lemon had to say, because he already had promoted his he had like a teaser on his social media showing a picture of him sitting down with Elon Musk, and very excited. And now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, they end the partnership. What's going on? So let me go ahead and pull up what Don had to say about this. There we go.
Elon Musk is mad at me. And I just put out a statement about what happened between him, me, and the interview that he is apparently so upset about. But make no mistake about this. This is going to be my first episode of the Don Lemon Show this coming Monday, March 18th. So make sure you tune in. This does not change anything about the show except for my relationship with Elon and X. And there's a whole lot that went down, and I'm going to tell you about in the coming days. I know, though, that many of you were not happy that I was doing this in the first place, and you told me so. I just want you to know that I did this deal because not only do I believe in free speech, but I believed that this was the best possible chance for the work that I'm doing to reach the largest amount of people. So speaking of free speech, right, I thought the first person interviewed, no brainer, Elon Musk, the man who calls himself a free speech absolutist. I asked him to do it. He willingly agreed to the interview. Throughout our conversation, I kept reiterating to him that although it was tense at times, I thought it was good for people to see and hear our exchange and that they would learn from our conversation, learn more about him, learn more about me. But apparently, free speech absolutism doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me. What did we talk about? Why is he so upset? Does he even have a reason to be upset? Make sure you watch it on Monday on YouTube and everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can decide for yourself. You can even watch it on X because I'm still going to post it there, and I'm sure others will as well. Hi, everyone.
All right, so right there, you hear it from Mr. Lemon himself of what happened between the two and the reason. So another statement he pulled up, excuse me, now he didn't pull up. Another statement he posted was that I'm gonna read this. This is from Don Lemon's Instagram page, and it states, "Okay, Elon Musk has canceled the partnership I had with X, which they announced as part of their public commitment to amplifying more diverse voices on their platform. He informed me of his decision hours after an interview I conducted with him on Friday. That interview will remain the premiere episode of the Don Lemon show, airing on Monday, March 18th. Then he went to say Elon publicly encouraged me to join X with a new show, saying I would have his full support and that his digital town square is for all. Okay, digital town square is for all. He and his team pursued the deal in numerous conversations and made significant commitments about the support X would provide for the show. I made the decision to work with them in a unique partnership that I believe would ultimately assure that my work would be available to most people in the largest possible venue. I took Elon and his management team's word that they, for the first time, were interested in working directly with new and diverse voices. There were no restrictions on the interview that he willingly agreed to, and my questions were respectful and wide ranging, covering everything from SpaceX to the presidential election. We had a good conversation. Clearly, he felt differently. His commitment to global town square, where all questions can be asked and all ideas can be shared, seems not to include questions of him from people like me. Our conversation will be available on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, and of course, it will be on X. Uh, this will be just the first of many episodes of the Don Lemon Show. While Elon goes back on his word, I will be doubling down on my commitment to free speech, and I cannot wait to get started. Now, the interesting thing is, all they did was end the partnership with X. They did not, cancel the Don Lemon show. So for some headlines saying that, oh no, did Don Lemon show get canceled already? It didn't even get premiered. Look, it did not get canceled, you guys. It did not get canceled. It just got, he just is no longer exclusively under or a part of the X platform, which is, hey, no big deal. That more money for Don. Well, I don't know how much he got paid, but at least he has more rights, I guess, for his platforms, more ownership in his show and stuff like that. But like Don said, Elon has always been a advocate for free speech. So why is it the fact that you didn't like my questioning or how the interview went, so you go ahead and cancel the partnership? I mean, come on. And it gets to thinking, and Don is funny. So Don was recently on CNN, his former employer, I believe a night or two ago, with sitting down with Aaron Burnett, and they were talking about this, and he just said, "Look, this is supposed to be your public square, but it's gonna be the question is should a public square be privately owned? Because if you love to promote freedom of speech, but then when it's when it's directed towards you, then you have an issue. And to me, this is kind of like a whiny baby thing. Like, I own a company, I can do what I want to do. You know what? You're fired. I didn't like how the interview went. You're fired. And Don had showed a couple clips. You can look on social media and find those for yourself, whether if it's on his platform or the Shade Room or CNN. They're out there. He showed bits and pieces of clips from his interview, his sit down he had with Elon Musk, and Elon basically said, I can care less what reporters and journalists do or say about me. I mean, the only reason why I'm having to sit down with you, Don, is because you're signed with X. That's the only reason why I'm interviewing you. I mean, that's why I'm sitting down here with you. Which I felt that was a little disrespectful because he basically said if you were with anybody else, I won't be sitting down with you. You're signed with X, so I gotta do it. Mm, don't disrespect the man's credibility because see, Elon basically had stated the reason why he fired, or excuse me, the reason why he canceled the partnership with Don Lemon was because Don Lemon is still the same CNN. He's still the same guy that he was on CNN. Now, here's the thing: Don has always been his true self. He gives you his authentic self. That's kind of why CNN fired him. Okay, so to say that he's giving me that same left wing media and he's giving me that CNN stuff onto X, I wanted somebody different. No, first of all, you hired Don Lemon and that's what you got. Okay, the whole point of freedom of speech is you want their authentic self. Don has always been authentic, and that's why again he was fired from CNN because he said what was on his mind. He said that Nikki Haley was still in her prime to run. He had a back and forth with Vivek Ramaswamy on CNN this morning. That was another thing I forgot to mention earlier that they didn't care for because he was like, it was the back and forth and they're trying to get rid of the back and forth. Don has always been his authentic self. When they've had those CNN New Year's Eve celebrations, Don be getting turned for real on there because that's his authentic self. Don is a very great journalist. Okay, very good, very sharp, registered independent as well. Hello, shout out to the independents. Don is very, very, very sharp. Uh, I'm excited to see this new show air. The Don Lemon Show. It's airing Monday, March 18th. Hello, my birthday, and it's gonna be on YouTube. You can watch it on X. So at least he still can do it on X. He just he's not exclusively with X, but he can still be seen on X. Um, Also on all podcast platforms. So I'm excited. I'm excited because now Don has more freedom. He's the owner. He's the sole owner of his new company, media company. Now I think it's it's a good timing for him. Don is almost 60 years old. He's been in the business for a long time, doing it for a long time, and respected really on both sides. Now I would like to see Don continue to have this show, and I'm a News Nation guy now. I mean I love watching all news platforms, but I'm really starting to enjoy more News Nation. It would be dope if they got him a show on News Nation, because to me News Nation needs a little more flavor, a little more color. All right, a little more diversity, because I mean they're good with, they have plenty of men and women a part of that team, but I need to see some more like people black in leadership or in the more lead roles. Okay, I think they have maybe just one uh person of color, well, two that lead their own shows. I would like to see more. Maybe that'll be a site for Don Lemon. You never know. You never know. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. But again, no, check out his new show. I know I will. Because I, like I said earlier, guys, won't be doing a recording on Monday. Won't be having a new episode on that day because it is my birthday. So I'm gonna kind of chillax with my friends and family, and I am gonna be watching the premiere of the Don Lemon Show. I'll talk back with you all on Wednesday about that. Last thing of the show that I'm gonna be talking with you all is this. Cuomo and Carlson. So you're probably like, wait, who are they? Chris Cuomo, another former CNN anchor, a beast at CNN. He led the ratings, had the highest rated show on CNN for a long time, primetime show. I think it was called Cuomo Primetime. He then was, he was fired because of his interference with his brother's ongoing case. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, that was his brother. So why would you fire him for that? So yeah, he got let go from there. Since then, he started a podcast called the Cuomo Project. He hosts a primetime show on News Nation called Cuomo, and hey, it's a very popular show, better gig. Not as much money, I think, as compared to how much he was making on CNN, but with the podcast growing so much at his platform there, he has his message going across. He's doing a great job out there. He's talking about being a free agent and how the game is really destroying the society. So much divisiveness happening and stuff like that. Now moving on to Tucker Carlson, he the opposite. Tucker is so controversial. Tucker's a very annoying. I find him very annoying. He was the star on Fox News. He had a very popular show on their highest rated show ever. I think he was maybe in the 7 or 8 o'clock slot on Fox News. Highly popular, and he had got fired from Fox because he was very controversial. And then at the time, Fox was had to pay a lot of money in this lawsuit because there was a lot of false stuff happening and accusations and things like that. And yeah, they had to pay a lot of money and let some people go. All right. Dan Bongino, uh 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 Tucker Carlson. I mean, it was a lot of people that had to go bye-bye from CNN. Tucker was one of them. But obviously, since then, Tucker is enjoying himself. He started his own media company. He started a show on X, and now he started his own streaming platform with so many shows and stuff on there that so he hosts all of them. Like, you start a streaming platform that is only you and you only. Is weird. TCN, I think, is the initials of it. Tucker Carlson Network is saying. But hey, people love him. The right wingers love Tucker Carlson. And he's just very loved on that side. The opposite hates his ass. They do not like him at all. And Chris Cuomo was one of them. So let me go ahead and bring this up because I thought this was pretty cool. So recently, Chris Cuomo went to Florida to have a sit down at Tucker Carlson's home. Just a part one. I think it was like a 2-part sit down with him, and it was on News Nation, and it was quite interesting. And the reason he went there to share it was the fact that there has been a public feud between the two. So during the uh let me get on, just not to give a little too much away, but I remember actually tuning into it. Well, no, it's already been played, so what the heck, I can talk about it right now. I only watched really part one. I didn't really watch part two. I think I watched bits and pieces, but uh he just asked him stuff. We talked about the election. He talked about the vaccines. He talked about January 6th. He started off talking about the firing at Fox News. Like, it was a very interesting sit down. And there's been so many sites. I mean, this is reported by The Hill right here. You can read here. It says, okay, bitter rivals, Tucker Carlson and Chris Cuomo, gives viewers something no one expected: a civil conversation. And that's what we need. That's what we need right now, guys, because there's so much divisiveness going on in our society. We are so tired of, at least I'm speaking for myself. I'm not going to speak for everybody. I'm speaking for myself. I'm tired of seeing the yelling back and forth stuff. Because what's that going to prove? Not a damn thing. I can't stand all the yelling on top of each other. Respect those opinions. No one should be forced to pull somebody in. Just have a civil conversation. Because here's the thing, guys: when we actually have civil conversations, the funny thing is that we might have 80% stuff that we agree on and 20% stuff that we disagree on. But for some reason, we let the 20% overpower that 80%, and now you got what's happening right now. So there has been so many reports saying like this sit down could be the blueprint of political media, because CNN right now, they thought it was cute to stay kind of like in one realm. They talk a lot about Donald Trump. Look, I don't like the guy either, but it's like every article, I mean every topic was Trump, 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 and that eventually hurt them. Now Fox News doing the same thing. Fox News is the right leaning, CNN was the left leaning. Now CNN is trying to come away from that and be more in the middle, more moderate. MSNBC obviously is definitely more left leaning, and they're staying in that realm because hey, their ratings they're fine with it. Of course, they want to see the climb going, but their ratings are doing much better than CNN. CNN's in the rebuilding stage. There's other right wing medias that's saying Fox News is losing its touch. You got Newsmax. You got so many far right wing sites happening. Everything is going to be divisive, but I thought this was pretty interesting because, again, Cuomo uh, publicly talked about his hate for Tucker Carlson and his dislike, saying with Tucker, and it sounds like Tucker really started the beef and shouldn't have started because like what do I ever do just because you disliked my my stance on during COVID on the vaccine? Like, come on, like what's up? But he, after this, in my opinion, Chris Cuomo was obviously the bigger and better man. Hey, Tucker was respectable for him. He didn't, wasn't a yelling back and forth. It was a simple conversation. Tucker's laugh really annoyed me. He had this laugh like everything he said was like so like a hearty laugh. I'm like, ew, just can you not like his mouth was open so wide you think a fly will fly in there. Like, jeez, it was a little it was one of those kind of stories. But anyways, yes, that went down, and a lot of people are talking about it. And all I have to say is, kudos to News Nation and Chris Cuomo for accomplishing that interview. Even kudos to Tucker Carlson because hey, he had something to do with that too. He agreed to do the sit down. They both agree with each other and they share some laughs, they share some disagreements. That's how conversations are, y'all, and that's what I hope to bring to you more here on this show. Because I'm just a guy that likes to have a conversation with y'all. And like every conversation, this conversation always has to come to an end. And I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope you continue to support and tune in to the Arrington Gavin podcast. Again, new episodes. You see it scrolling down at the bottom. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts. 5 p.m. if you prefer to watch the video version. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel, R Smooth Club Media, Rumble at the Arrington Gavin Podcast, Facebook at R Smooth Club Podcast, as well as RSC Media on X. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Please be sure to tune into my weekly radio show in your city, hosted by myself, along with my good friends, comedian Ciroc Fox, Hustle Queen Miss Michelle Young, and shout out to our amazing producer, Mr. Cam Godley. We air every Sundays, again, 12 p.m. on WNSB, Hot 91.1 FM, the soul of EA. And no worries, if you can't find us on your radio dial, you can download the app. It is free. And shout out to our one of our main sponsor, Rugged Beard Care. Rugged is a new smooth. If you're a man that wants to continue to keep your beard looking well, healthy and maintain looking as well as your skin, go to ruggedevo.com right now. They have amazing beard balms, beard oils, conditioner shampoos, all that great stuff. And they have a new line of skincare products. They have a face wash, they have a body lotion, soy-based candles, so much great stuff in there. Until next time, y'all, I'm gonna go continue to celebrate my start of a new about to turn a new age. I'm very grateful, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace and blessings. I'm out.